Imagine being told that the size of your manhood has been written on your hands all along. Yes, the very length of your fingers could reveal a secret most men never realized. It sounds shocking, but science says there's truth behind it. I'm Dr. James, a physician who has spent over 30 years caring for men's health, especially in the later decades of life. I've walked with thousands of men through questions of confidence, intimacy, and vitality, and today I want to share something that may surprise you. For decades, men have joked about shoes or height predicting size. But here's the paradox. It's not your shoes, and it's not your height, it's your fingers. That simple detail holds a silent record of how your body developed before you were even born. Stay with me because in this video you'll not only understand what your finger length says about penis size, but also what it reveals about your health, your confidence, and the strength that still lives in you today. And just when you think you've heard it all, I'll reveal why this isn't only about size. It's about your life as a man, especially now, in your 60s and beyond. Before we go further, if you'd like to keep learning powerful insights about men's health, click subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss what's coming next. And in the comments, type 1 if this topic sparks your curiosity, or 0 if you'd like me to take a different approach in future videos. Now, let's begin with why older men in particular should care about this hidden connection. 1. Why older men should care about this. At first, it may sound like a playful trick comparing fingers to predict size, but for men in their 60s and beyond, it carries a deeper meaning. This is not about a cheap laugh or a party game. It is about uncovering a clue your body has carried since before you were born, a silent marker that reflects the very testosterone which helped shape you into the man you became. Many older men quietly wonder if age has stolen something from them, if vitality and masculinity are slipping away with each passing year. The truth is, your hands still whisper part of that story, reminding you that your strength and identity were carved into your biology long before time added its lines and silver hairs. When I speak to men your age, I hear a longing for reassurance, a need to know that they still matter, that what made them a man has not been lost. This is why finger ratios matter. They do not just connect to size, they symbolize the imprint of your earliest power, a message from nature that your manhood is not defined by decline, but by resilience. And if that one hidden clue can reveal so much, just imagine what else your body has been holding back, waiting for you to understand. Which brings us to the science behind the finger ratio and why it is far more fascinating than most people ever realize. 2. The science behind the finger ratio. Scientists call it the 2D:4D ratio, the length of your index finger compared to your ring finger. At first glance, it seems simple, but the truth behind it is remarkable. During the 10th to 15th week of life in the womb, your developing body was exposed to powerful waves of hormones. Testosterone, in particular, acted like an architect, shaping your organs, your brain, and yes, even leaving its trace in your hands. If your ring finger grew longer than your index finger, it meant you had higher exposure to testosterone at that critical time. If your index finger ended up longer, it meant less testosterone. What is extraordinary is that this small measurement on your hand never changes. It is a lifelong marker of the hormonal story you began with. Think about it. A simple glance at your right hand carries information about the forces that shaped your masculinity decades ago, long before your first memory. It's almost poetic, a hidden code etched into your body, and the implications go far beyond curiosity. That ratio doesn't just stop at fingers, it reflects how testosterone influenced the growth of your penis, and even how your brain was wired for decision-making, confidence, and resilience. So when people laugh at the idea, they miss the point. This is not just trivia, this is biology telling its story. And the next question, of course, is the one you've been waiting for. What exactly does this ratio mean for penis size, and how strong is the evidence that connects the two? 3. The penis connection. Now let's face the question that has lingered in the back of your mind. Does finger length truly connect to penis size? Science says yes, at least in part. In 2011, a team of researchers in Korea examined 144 men who were undergoing surgery. While the men were under anesthesia, doctors measured both flaccid and stretched penis length with precision and then compared those numbers to their finger ratios. The results were clear. Men with longer ring fingers, a lower 2D:4D ratio, consistently showed greater penis length. It wasn't a guess, it wasn't a joke, it was measured evidence. This finding has carried weight in the scientific community because it confirms what testosterone exposure in the womb can set into motion. For older men, the meaning is even deeper. Your body still carries the signature of those early hormones, and the size you were given was not by chance. It was a reflection of a process that began before your first breath. That realization can be powerful, even comforting, because it reminds you that your masculinity was written long ago and has always been part of your story. But here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. This ratio does not only connect to size, it also speaks volumes about performance, ability, and even the way your mind works under pressure. And once you see the bigger picture, you'll realize this is about far more than inches. 4. Beyond size. What your fingers reveal about your life. What surprises most men is that this story doesn't stop at the bedroom. The same ratio that hints at size also speaks about how you move through life. Research has shown that men with a lower 2D:4D ratio often excel in athletics, displaying more stamina and strength. Others reveal sharper musical ability, a kind of rhythm and creativity that seems to come naturally. Even in high-stakes environments like financial trading, where seconds can mean millions, those with a longer ring finger have shown a remarkable edge. It's not magic, it's the lasting fingerprint of testosterone shaping both body and brain. Think about it for a moment. Long before you picked up a ball, strummed a guitar, or made a bold choice in life, your biology had quietly tilted the scales. That hormone exposure influenced not just your size, but the wiring of your mind, making you more decisive, more willing to take risks, and sometimes more willing to lead when others hesitated. For older men, this truth can spark a sense of pride. Your achievements, your confidence, even your resilience in the face of challenges may all be part of that early gift. And yet, as exciting as these discoveries are, every scientific story needs balance. Because as powerful as correlations may seem, they do not always tell the whole truth. That's why the next lesson is so important. A cautionary word about what these connections really mean and what they don't. 5. A word of caution. As fascinating as these studies may sound, we must pause for a moment and remember what science can and cannot say. Correlation does not mean destiny. Just because research shows a link between finger length and penis size, or between digit ratios and performance, does not mean it defines who you are as an individual. Science can point to patterns, but every man is unique, and every body carries its own story. I tell my patients this often: you are not a statistic, you are a person. And while trends can be interesting, they should never become chains that limit how you see yourself. It's tempting to measure ourselves against numbers or rules, but manhood has never been about that alone. Masculinity is not measured in inches or ratios. It is measured in how you live, how you love, and how you carry yourself through the years. Especially for older men, clinging to a single measure of worth can steal the joy from what really matters: intimacy, companionship, vitality, and the wisdom only age can bring. So yes, the science is intriguing, but it should always be taken with perspective. And here's the part that should capture your attention. If finger ratios are only part of the picture, then what does the full story look like for men over 60? The answer touches not just on biology, but on identity, and it is more important now than ever before. 6. Why this matters for men over 60. By the time a man reaches his 60s, questions about health and masculinity often grow louder. Many men silently wonder, am I still the man I used to be? Does age take away what once defined me? These thoughts are natural, but they can also be heavy. That's why understanding the story hidden in your fingers becomes more than curiosity. It becomes reassurance. The ratio is not about making comparisons with younger men, but about reminding you that the foundation of your masculinity was set long before wrinkles or gray hair. It shows you that the forces which shaped your manhood were written into your biology and remain part of you, no matter what the years bring. For older men, this message carries power. You are not simply a man in decline, you are a man who has lived, loved, endured, and triumphed. The finger ratio is a clue that your journey was guided by strength from the start, and even as the body changes with age, that truth does not fade. In fact, it can give you confidence to embrace intimacy, health, and self-worth with new perspective. But here is where the story takes a turn. If your hands reveal so much about your past, what about the choices you make today? That is where the next insight will surprise you, because it is not about what you were given, it is about what you can still create. 7. The open loop. I promised. Your fingers may tell the story of your past, shaped by hormones long before you were born, but they do not define the man you are today. What matters now is how you live, how you care for your body, and how you nurture your confidence in these later years. The ratio may reveal clues, but your choices shape your future. Remember this: masculinity is not measured only in size, but in wisdom, resilience, and love. That truth will never fade, and it is yours to carry proudly.